Let's turn to a quick reading annotation. So, on the origin of species, right, by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life, 1859 by Charles Darwin. Okay, we're not going to read the whole text. We will read the introduction, chapters 1, variation under domestication, chapter 3, struggle for existence, chapter 4, natural selection, chapter 6, difficulties on theory, and then chapters 13, mutual affinities of organic beings, morphology, embryology, rudimentary organs, and chapter 14, the recapitulation and conclusion. Okay, so just in general on that, so generally I think reading the introduction, chapter 6 and chapter 14 are sort of you can read them for his overarching theory and also for his rhetorical moves. Chapters 1 and 13 are science chapters, where you can look at his method, his scientific investigations. And then chapters 3 and 4, you can look at his sort of metaphorical sort of expressions, right? So he's using a lot of metaphorical sort of concepts to try to get this idea across. So chapters 3 and 4 you can look at there, and they're the most famous chapters. So here we have the introduction. So he will talk about himself here, right? So you want to note that he is putting himself into the text. Supposed to be a science text, but and we're used to science texts now in the 21st century that are very, very abstract, very, very distant, that authorship is usually collective authorship. It's very distant. Everything is laboratory perfect. You don't really see the author inserting themselves into the story because that subverts the idea of objectivity. But here Darwin, writing in an earlier time in science, right, is doing it in a different way, right? You also want to keep in mind that he's writing for a general public. This was a bestseller in its time. And he is really writing about the idea of ideas. He realizes that, this is going to be an earth-shattering event, what he's saying here. So you want to keep that in mind, the literary aspect of the text. Darwin is writing a scientific text, but he writes it in a very literary and philosophical way. So what are the aspects of that literary and philosophical method you want to understand first of all, and then why does he do it?